Chairman, I'd like to start just by making an appeal to the chair, not only of the full committee, but also to my new chair of Permanent Subcommittee Investigations. We have Senator Marshall, Senator Paul, myself are very interested, as I think the American public is, in the origin of COVID. I think with the recent revelation now, the Department of Energy is tending toward a leak from a lab. We need to understand exactly how COVID started so we can prevent it from happening in the future. I think this committee, we have the investigatory background, certainly my subcommittee does, and I would truly encourage the chairs of the full committee and Permanent Subcommittee of Investigation to cooperate with us and, quite honestly, start a full-fledged committee investigation into the origins. I think it's extremely important, as well as, other aspects of our response to COVID, which I certainly have my viewpoint on that. The House is doing so, I think, in a pretty bipartisan fashion. There should be nothing partisan about this whatsoever. So I really encourage you as chair of the full committee and Senator Blumenthal to cooperate with us in those investigations. Ms. Shogan, in the third question that is standard in terms of asking nominees before the committee, do you agree without reservation to comply with any request or summons to appear testified before a duly constituted committee of Congress? If you're confirmed, you answer that in the affirmative. I'm asking, do you agree that that should be request from the minority as well?
Thank you. Thank you, Senator Johnson, for that question. If I am confirmed, I will be responsive to any requests or inquiries that you have, any members on this committee have, or any members of the United States Senate or Congress within compliance of existing law. I will do that.
So there was an Office of Legal Counsel opinion in 2001 which took a look at the language of the Presidential Records Act where it's talking about to the extent or matter within his jurisdiction to any committee or subcommittee thereof, if such records contain information as needed for the conduct of its business that is not otherwise available. There's no mention of the majority, the minority, or a chairman of a committee or chairwoman of a committee making that request. But the Office of Legal Counsel said that it's only a request from a chair. So I understand that's the legal standard put forth by the Department of Justice, an agency within the executive branch. But I would argue, and I've certainly experienced this, that it has dramatically hampered the rights of the minority to get to the bottom of what's happening in government. In your testimony, you mimic the website of the archives in terms of what the purpose of the archives is. According to the archives website, in a democracy, records belong to the people. Records help us claim our rights and entitlements, hold our elected officials accountable for their actions, and document our history as a nation. NARA ensures continuing access to the essential documentation of the rights of American citizens and the action of the government. In your testimony, you said you'll be there to safeguard government public records so that the citizens can claim their rights to hold government accountable. With that Office of Legal Counsel's opinion, if you've got the presidency held by one party and both branches of government held by the same party, half the country, through their elected representatives, have no access to records. Do you understand that?
Senator, I will need to get back to you on the OLC opinion that you're citing. I believe, as you said, that was issued during the presidency of George W. Bush. But once again, I want to promise to be as responsive as possible under the dictates of the law to yourself, to other members of this committee, and to members of the United States Senate and all members of Congress. Because I do believe, Senator, what you stated is correct. The National Archives holds the records of the United States in custody for the American people. But the American people, it's their records. And I look forward to sharing them with as many Americans as possible while following the law.
So, by the way, I think current Majority Leader Schumer had an issue with that same Office of Legal Counsel opinion back in 2018. I actually agree with Senator Schumer. I think it is absurd if you believe in transparency of government, if you believe that these records are the records of the people, that in certain circumstances there is no possibility for the minority party to get access to records from the administration, so we can't hold them accountable, and the American public cannot get information that it completely deserves to have. I mean, do you agree with that position? Do you understand the quandary, the problem with that opinion?
Senator, I do understand the problem that you're outlining, and once again, I promise if I am confirmed to share as many records as possible with the American people under the dictates of the law.
So if you become archivist here, you'll also be in charge of an agency that in addition to archiving other executive branch information, you'll have potential information yourself. For example, communications between yourself and, in this case, the Department of Justice in terms of how to handle the classified information that is in the hands of President Trump, Vice President Biden, or President Biden and Vice President Pence. I'd like to, with consent, enter 2 letters, one January 23rd of this year and also February 24th, written by Senator Grassley and myself to the acting archivist, asking for information related to those investigations. We did not get a satisfactory answer in our January request, so we had to follow it up with a February request. The first one just said, if you become activist, this is a question we asked for the acting archivist, will you provide all records between the archives and the Department of Justice relating to the archives' response to our January 23rd, 2023 letter? I mean, will you provide those types of records? Or are you going to hide behind, oh, there's an active investigation, or only a chair can commit this or request this?
Senator, I have not been briefed on any details regarding these incidents due to the Department of Justice investigations. I have not.
I would just ask that you be, as you said, you would be responsive to our requests should you become confirmed, and I'd ask for your commitment to be responsive to our requests.
Thank you, Senator.
Thank you, Senator Johnson.